What's happening, folks? Today's episode of Roadie Free Radio is brought to you in part by Boulevard Carroll Entertainment Production Services, based in New York, New Jersey, and DC. These guys are one of the largest full-service production companies in the U.S. They do event production, rehearsals, backline, audio, video, pro audio sales, and design. In the heart of New York City alone, they've got a 17,500 square foot production and rehearsal facility. If you're an artist looking to take advantage of these services, or a tech who's looking to partner up with an extraordinary team, head over to boulevardcarroll.com today and check them out.
Hey, what's happening, roadies? This is Zito.
This is Eric Rogers.
What's happening, roadies? This is Jimmy Pettinato, and you're listening to Roadie Free Radio.
What's up, roadies? My name is Larry Milburn, and this is Roadie Free Radio, your VIP pass to meet and greet the stars behind the scenes of the music and film business. All right, what is happening, roadies? Welcome to episode 155. My guest this week is Mr. Jimmy Pettinato, Production Manager Extraordinaire. Thank you for tuning in. I am not coming at you from a barn in Northwest Connecticut. I am, however, coming at you from Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, California, out here for the NAMM show. Got here a few days early for some interviews and for some connections, some networking. Very excited to be here. Did a little too much walking yesterday, and so I'm hanging out in the house that I'm staying at. Got some ice on the ankle and just resting up for a big week here in Los Angeles. Got to give a shout out, a happy birthday shout out to my man and yours, Mr. Mike Analog Man Piera. Happy birthday, buddy. I hope you are doing well. Don't forget, folks, like I said, I'm in town for the NAMM show, and Friday morning, January 17th at 10 a.m., Power of Podcasting, doing a killer panel in Ballroom A at the Hilton Hotel. January 17th, 10 a.m., the Power of Podcasting. My guests will be Fela Davis from the Art of Music Tech podcast, Liz Shaw from Recording Studio Rockstars, Chris Graham from the Six Figure Home Studio, and of course, Mr. Matt Boudreau from Working Class Audio. We're going to be talking about launching a podcast, why you should be podcasting in 2020, how to set up your own studio. We're going to go through some gear. We're going to talk about monetizing, sponsorships, all of that great stuff. So if you can make it January 17th, 10 a.m., go to the NAMM website, register for that panel, and come on by. We are going to have a good time. Hey, listen, guys, if you are just tuning in, or if you've been a long-time listener, you know I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. If you wouldn't mind taking 30 seconds, head on over to the iTunes store, look us up under podcasting, and leave a review and a rating. It goes a long way. Those folks at Apple, they look for that kind of stuff, and they push you up in the rankings. So head on over there, leave us a review. I would really appreciate it. Hey, we are also sponsored today by ShowPro Beard Co., started by live audio engineer Chris Wilson, the audio wizard. They've created their very own unique formula of beard balm that not only performs well in terms of health and nourishment, it also provides the control, shine, and pleasant aroma that any bearded professional would appreciate. Now look, these are non-waxy, all-natural beard balms. They will leave your beard soft, smooth, and nourished. Choose from a variety of natural smelling scents like Home Sweet Home, Morning Wood, Through the Woods, Chain Motor Oil, and of course, Original Unscented. When you use the code ROADIE, you will get yourself 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off when you use the code ROADIE when you check out. All right, now listen, I'm so excited to bring you today's guest, Jimmy Pettinato. That last name may sound familiar to some of you that have been listening. I had his wife, Michelle Pettinato, front of house engineer for Elvis Costello, on the show just a couple short weeks ago. I think she helped kick us off for the new year. Jimmy has been a long time production manager, lighting designer. I think he has spent a hot minute as a tour manager, but the guy is great, man. We had a fantastic time. I'm very excited to bring you this interview. He just wrapped up the holiday tour with Trans Siberian Orchestra. He's been with them for about the last 10 years. But in his 30-year plus career, he has been with the Spin Doctors, Gwen Stefani, Indigo Girls, New Kids on the Block, many, many, many more, a lot more to be exact. He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He comes from a long line of proud Italian Americans. They were all carpenters, machinists, laborers, hardworking folks who instilled in Jimmy a strong work ethic that would ultimately propel him to be one of the top production managers working today. So imagine this: your path in life is predetermined. You are going to be a carpenter. That's what it is. Your whole family's been doing that. And you sit down with your grandfather, your uncle, and your mom, and you tell them, at the age of about 21, 22, you know what? I'm not going into the family business. I'm going to go try this rock and roll thing out, be a lighting designer, make some cash on the road. We get into it. We talk about it. We talk about what that scene was like. And I wish I had been there. Just wish I'd been a fly on the wall for that. Would have been amazing. He's also a race car enthusiast. He likes to race. He has a couple of cars. And he's also managed to stay married, as I said, to Michelle for 20 years. 2 working, touring professionals, keeping it together. It's pretty awesome, man. We dive into that and a lot more. So, also want to let you guys know we are also sponsored today by Stagehands Clothing based in Chicago. This is a husband and wife team, and they have created the one-stop shop for backstage professionals who are always working hard behind the scenes and count on high-quality, durable workwear. They carry everything from men's and women's apparel and plenty of super cool gear to keep you ready for the next task. Use the code ROADIE over there. You get yourself 20% off over there as well, your entire order. So use that code ROADIE, get yourself 20% off. Guys, I'm super psyched for this week. I'm super psyched for NAMM. Please try to make it to the panel if you are coming out to NAMM. We'd love to see you. I'd love to give you a hug and a sticker. You get free stickers and buttons if you come to the panel. That is pretty cool right there. Don't forget to head over to iTunes, leave us a review. Until then, here we go with Mr. Jimmy Pettinato.
Hit it. Call yourself a roadie. Call yourself a roadie. Call yourself a roadie.
You know what I love? It's guys and gals like you that are like, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I got nothing to say. I haven't done anything. And then you send me like a 20-page resume that goes back with some ridiculous fucking tours on it. And I just love it, dude. So let's jump in. How are you, first of all? What's going on? You're on a bit of a break.
Yeah, just got home. What's going on right now here in Northeast PA is we were supposed to get an inch of snow last night, and I think we got like 5.
Oh my God.
So when I get done talking to you, I'm going to go outside and snow blow for the next 2 fucking hours.
Nice. I'm sure you're really excited about that.
That's completely excited.
We got I was going to bed last night. I was up late doing some editing, and I looked out the window and we got a light dusting, but I had no idea we were going to get anything. It's still on the ground. Probably got an inch or something. And it always makes me nervous. You guys don't have kids, but we've got a 4.5-year-old. And when they delay school, his just gets canceled because he's in pre-K.
And you're in Chicago?
I'm in, what the fuck am I? I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, you know what? Why did I think you were in Chicago? Oh, did you tell Zito you were from Chicago?
I'm from Chicago. Well, okay, my family's from Chicago.
Okay, got it.
And I was born in New York, grew up there, and then in Connecticut and whatnot. But I still have family in Chicago. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, the roots go back to Chicago.
That's it.
Yeah, man. So what about you? You're from PA originally, born and bred?
Yeah, I'm rooted here, Scranton, PA.
Scranton, PA.
Born here, lived here my whole life.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, yeah. Yes, but you've also traveled the world 70 billion times.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is that part of it. But yeah, but I've always lived here.
How long was this last run with Trans Siberian Orchestra?
The tour itself is quite short. I mean, in the amount of shows that we do, our first show was November the 13th, but you back that up, we load into rehearsals in October. The rehearsal period is fairly extensive considering how short the tour is. So we load in, this year we traveled to rehearse October 30th, and then we rehearsed for about 18 days. Wow. And then we moved to the first city And then the tour itself is only about 6 weeks long.
Wow.
But in that time, we did 64 shows on the East.
Oh my God.
It's a big number. Because we do 2 shows a day, which is unusual.
Yeah.
I take that back. This year we did 57 shows.
50.
We
Okay.
did 57 shows. But yeah, we do 2 shows a day on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And then after we get 2 weeks out from the holidays, from like Christmas, then it's doubles all the way out. We do doubles every day.
Wow.
Which makes our thing a little unique.
Right. Do you feel that makes it easier or harder? I mean, once you're set up, right?
Well, there's an old saying in the TSO world is if we're there, we may as well do 2. Yes. I mean, the day is long. It makes the day longer because that means, you're waking, you're really only sleeping 2.5 or so hours a night.
Yeah.
From load out to load in and 2.5 to 3 hours. So that makes the day long, but I mean, it's like, we're there. We may as well do 2. If you can sell 2, why not do 2?
Absolutely. And I guess the other thing is like, idle hands, idle mind, right? Like if you're there and you're set up, there's no waiting around. Like it's time to go. So what time's the first show go off?
So a normal TSO day for a double show day, we would generally open doors at 2, do the first show at 3, and then the second show. So it's a matinee. So it's okay. Very much like a theater style line of thinking. So you do a matinee at 3 o'clock, and then you flip the building around. You open doors at 6:30 or 7, and then you do a 7:30 or an 8 o'clock evening show.
And you're done 9:30, 10?
Yeah, the show this year was 2 hours, 20 minutes. So figure we're done around 10:30, then 2 hours of loadout, and on our way.
Damn. What were some of the stretches between cities? Bit long ones?
This year we had a couple doozies. Now, anything I say here, if anyone hears it, is going to be laughed at by anyone who works on the West Coast. Because our West Coast team legit does almost double the miles that the East Coast does. Wow. So when we bitch on the East, when we bitch about a 380-mile overnighter or a 400-mile overnighter, those guys totally throw us the finger and laugh at us. We're like, well, fuck, we had a 400-mile overnighter. We showed up late. We were late for a load-in. We had to do a pre-rig. That's normal operating procedure for the guys on the West.
Wow.
They live in a constant state of late. It's just the geography of the geography of that team.
Yeah.
They just do lots of miles.
Well, the amazing thing is like California, right? You can drive a lot of miles and you're still in California. You do that here, you've cut like 5 states already. You've already done five different shows in 5 different states. Yeah.
It's just the way that they book it. The East team, our East team, really East for us is sort of Georgia to Canada in a narrow corridor down the eastern side of the country, and the West does everything else. They really cover a lot of miles. We do more shows than they do.
Where are they sort of based out of?
So TSO is based in New York City.
Okay.
Its ancestral home is in Florida. Okay. Which is where the creator Paul O'Neill started it. But the home is New York City. Home based where the managers and the management office and I guess where it started is New York City.
I've heard so much about them, and I've yet to see a show and experience this thing, and I got to get it on the list to come check it out because it just sounds amazing.
You know what? It's a great show. A lot of like families come to it. It's like we get people literally the legit 8 to 80, right?
Wow.
TSO is rooted in a hard rock band called Sabotage. Right. The roots of TSO came from a band, an 80s metal band called Sabotage. And TSO is a lot of it is metalized and hard rock versions of traditional Christmas standards that Paul adapted. So none of these grandmothers have any idea that they're listening to some fine metal musicians. And they're listening it's all guitar rock, all of it. And like my mom is 81 years old. In all the years I've been doing this, 35 years I've been doing this, 36 years, my mom, the only show she has ever come to see is TSO. And she comes with her crew, like her posse from, like, these are her three best friends, and they have been best friends since kindergarten, right? Wow. They're all 80-year-old ladies, and they come to see TSO every year. They think it's great, the greatest show ever. And it's metal. I mean, it's a metal show, right? It is hard rock.
Wow.
It's hard rock versions of Christmas songs.
Yeah. Same set, same deal, same show every time?
No, definitely not. No. So Paul, let's see if I get this right. Paul wrote, there are 4 stories, and so TSO has a script. There's a story that goes along with it. The first half of the show is a narrator. There's a narrator, and there's narration, and there's a story behind all the songs that ties all the songs together. So there are 4 of those stories that Paul wrote, and they alternate over the years. They alternate what show we're doing.
Yep.
So this year's show was a return to the script and the story behind the first year of TSO, the first year it toured. We haven't done this one in a while.
Okay.
In fact, I don't know that we've done it in my 10 years there. I think this was the story we did my first year. And so it's been a while since they did this one. But then the fans, the longtime fans, they understand that. Like, they know the stories are different, and they know the titles and all that. But so it's different every year. The show is different every year. The music's different every year. There are standards that are TSO fixtures that they have to play,
Yep.
But the set list, there's enough material from all the stuff that Paul wrote. There's enough material there that the set is different every year. It's a completely different show. Like, the production's different every year.
So if you have a 2:00 matinee, and what kind of houses you playing?
Arenas.
Yeah.
Arenas.
Like the Garden.
Yeah. All NHL, NBA, and minor league. Because, with us doing 50-some shows and the West doing 50-some shows, there's over 100. There's over 100, variations there. So we play a lot of minor league hockey arenas, like in the same run of a week where we might play Allentown, PA, and Wilkes-Barre, PA. We're also going to play Philadelphia, PA, where the Flyers play.
Wow.
So we're going to play minor league arenas. We're going to play major, NHL, NBA arenas.
Right. All right. So you got to get in there by like 7:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock earlier.
We chalk. Depending on the day, we chalk at 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're leaving. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. So you're leaving a big stretch. I'm just trying to think of big stretch. You're leaving Philly and you're going to go to New York. And that you would do that in a night for sure. That's easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the harder one is like we're going to leave Philly, which we do, and go to Pittsburgh, which is 6 hours.
Okay. Okay. So you're right. You're getting no sleep. You're out of there at fucking 11 o'clock.
We roll between 1 and 1:30. So buses and trucks roll between.
Oh, right, because the show's done. Okay, yeah, right. 2 hours. Okay, right.
So 2.5 hour loadout. By the time showers are done, everybody's on the bus.
Right. So 1 o'clock in the morning, you're leaving. 6 hours later, or so, you're in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And
so we're already late.
Right. Right. And you're really in great moods.
We're 2 hours late, but we're in a good mood because we've already had really a little bit more sleep than we would ever have.
There you go. There you go.
On a good night where we actually make load in.
Yep.
But we.
And you hop out and you start chalking immediately.
Immediately. So in that case, what we do is we have a jump package with extra rigging. So when we're late like that, we have a jump package of we have one extra truck. So if let's say this year we were 19 tractor trailers. So there's a 20th tractor trailer that has a second set of rigging in it. So we send that ahead and we send a rigger ahead. And so he will have started, depending on if they have a game the night before. If they don't have a game, he will pre-rig the day before. If they do have a game, he will literally start chalking the floor the moment the conversion crew has flipped the arena into concert mode. And so he'll start on time, and that gives us a tremendous jump in that when we show up 2 hours late with the production, the rigging, motors have started to go up. So we walk into a certain level of what we call motors hanging. So that's a pretty significant jump forward.
Sure. Wow. Okay. So then to get everything, so your sound check has got to be like.
Sound check on a matinee day when we're late. A lot of times we'll cancel sound check. It'll just be a roadie check, and that happens in general. If doors are at 2, it would happen at 1:30. You'd have to see it to believe it. So for us, it's about a 6-hour build, right? So we load in at 6. By noon, let's say noon, 12:30, the stage in a perfect world, the stage rolls at 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then we have that hour and a half to finish where the stage hits its marks, and then everybody gets everything ready, and we open doors at 1:30, 2 o'clock.
God damn.
Yeah, we slide it in, like literally slide it in by the skin of our teeth a lot of days.
Wow, man. Wow. And that is just insane. And then, but as production manager, that doesn't give you because then you got another show. So you got to try to be on call for that show or whatever. And you got your whatever fucking 2-hour break in between barely to reset, get ready for the next one for the night show, right? And then you do it all again. Yeah. And then how many shows? Are you like 2-3 days in a row or 2 days on, 1 off sort of a thing?
For the East, and I think the West does a very similar. A normal thing for the East is Mondays and Tuesdays are off. Very, theater-like, sort of down the schedule, down the week, the calendar. Mondays and Tuesdays are off. Wednesdays, Thursdays are singles. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays are doubles. So we do 5 days in a row. And that's been the norm until we get close to the holidays. When we get close to Thanksgiving and close to Christmas, those are always doubles all the way through.
So when are you doing your production manager hat job, right? If you've got a full day like that and you've only got 2.5 hours to sleep, you've already advanced everything prior to going out, but there's all that other shit you got to do.
I mean, it's pretty easy. I mean, I shouldn't say it's easy. Look, my day is my day. My day is my day, right? We hit the building, trucks unload. I go about with my, the production team, and we set up the production office. But at that same time, the stage manager is flowing everything in on the floor, and all the guys are getting everything built. So my job starts once the production office is built. My job rolls into what I do, what we all do as production managers. And that's when you get in there on the day, and then you make your day sheets. And then once that's produced, you deal with the problems of the day. You go and talk about, if are there any oddities that have developed between the advance and right now. If there are seats that need to be looked at, they're killed or open, those kind of things get discussed that morning. And then the day kind of just happens, right? The build happens, and I'm sitting in the production office doing what I do, either I'm 2 weeks ahead, I'm not, my involvement on the show day is minimal in that the guys on the floor and my stage manager are running the floor, and I'm once the day sheet is written for the day, I'm 2 weeks ahead.
Gotcha.
And
let's just be clear real quick here for everybody listening. You graciously said, "Oh, it's pretty easy," but it's easy because you've got 30 plus years under your belt doing this. You're able to do this.
Nature. Yeah, it's second nature. Yeah, right. This is what we do. I've been out of that 10 of those years I've been with TSO. I mean, so. My first year was a bit of a whirlwind. The second year was like, holy crap, this is really working. And then, and TSO has been an entity for 21 years, a touring entity. So it's a pretty darn well-oiled machine.
Sounds like it. So do you have a military background or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just curious, because a lot of production managers and whatnot that I've had on the show, a lot of guys and gals have some sort of military background or tour manager, and they're,
some of the great ones do. A lot of the great ones.
Yeah. Monitor engineers too. I've had several of those that have a military background. Greg Looper, Air Force guy.
Now, see, that I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. He'd fucking kill me for that. Marine.
Right.
Wow.
I think it's very testy about that.
He was a Marine, I'm pretty sure. Drew Consalvo was in the Air Force. Okay.
Right.
So many roadies, so many military branches. What are you going to do, man? All right, so let's go back, dude. So pre doing this, you're a young kid in Scranton, Pennsylvania. What'd your folks do? The Pettinatos.
My entire family is in construction, right? I know, it's like, they do concrete, right? Yeah. The Italian family the Italian family, they do concrete. Yes, we do. That's what, we grew up doing construction. That's everybody. That scene in My Cousin Vinny, or it's my father was a mechanic, my grandfather. My great-grandfathers were carpenters. My grandfathers were carpenters. My dad, my three uncles were carpenters. My one great-grandfather was a bricklayer, and my other uncle was a bricklayer. But for the most part, every single person in my family is in the construction industry.
So not too dissimilar to production managing, right?
Crazy enough, it's not at all.
Yeah, solving problems. How do we fit this big, 18-ton bag of shit in a 5-ton bag and make it work?
It's probably, honestly, one of the analogies that works the best. My grandfather was a general contractor, and my family, and that's exactly what I do. That is, when people ask me, well, what is your job? I'm like, imagine a contractor, a general contractor, the guy who built your house. You hired a general contractor, and then he worked with your architect to come up with you as the owner or the artist, and the architect, the show designer, and me as the production manager. Well, we work together to get a project, and then that project we turn it into reality. So between that team, and it's so similar, it's crazy. So my job, production managing, is like the GC.
Right.
You deal with all the vendors. You deal with all of the subcontractors. You deal with the materials and all of that, all the supplies. It's very similar.
Which facet of this job, production managing, we're going to go back because you did a lot of stuff prior, production, TMing, lighting design, all that kind of stuff. But which facet of the production management is the one, if there's still one after all this time, that you're like, fucking QuickBooks, I hate this part. The administrative part, is that it? Is it being on the road? Is it managing people? What's the skill that you need or that you have that you're like, I just wish I didn't have to do this part?
There's not a part that I particularly don't like. I mean, you really learn how to hate doing manifests when it's time to go overseas. Yeah. That is some tedious crap. It's taking 8 billion part numbers and serial numbers, and everybody sends you all their manifests. And now the goddamn Canadians, they make us section it off by trucks, right? So every single truck has to have a specific manifest for each truck. So not only do we used to be able to do one manifest for the whole tour, right? This is all our gear. It's in these 19 tractor trailers somewhere. Right. Now they want it per truck, which is a giant pain in the ass.
Wow.
If there's a tedious part, that's super tedious. I'm not really good. My stage managers and also my production coordinators are really good at, the guys I work with are amazing at dealing with interpersonal squabbles. The reason I don't tour manage is I don't babysit, and I have my tolerance level for whiny bitches is this big, right? And And so it's really good. They're like my production coordinator on TSO, Matt Cooney, my longtime stage manager, Steve Roman. These guys are great at deflecting that crap from me because my tolerance gets so low that I'd be like, well, let's just get a new one. You know, if the fourth guy on the lighting crew is bitching about something silly, let's just get a fucking new one.
Right.
You know, there's that kind of shit drives me crazy. Oh, you know, so-and-so has the bus too cold or too hot. You know, fucking cowboy up, motherfucker.
Well, but and the thing is too, I mean, really in your position with this kind of a tour with TSO, you don't have time. There's no time. There's no bandwidth, right?
No, they're on any tour. I mean, you know, right. 2 summers ago, I did a young singer-songwriter named Charlie Puth, it was a 6-truck tour, and it's the same amount of lack of bandwidth for that kind of crap. So
yeah,
it's really like, that's probably the babysitting part, the part where you've really got to, you know, so-and-so says he's going to quit because he doesn't like working with so-and-so. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm good with that. You know, let me call his boss. Let me call his boss and get somebody else ready. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I'm in the same similar sort of a thing on my film and TV side as a producer. Right. I produce a show here in the summer and it's on Sundays, and you know I've got a whole production team, and then I got my guys and the sound person and everything. And I find the same thing. Sometimes at the end of a Sunday, I was mentally exhausted just dealing with the personalities. Yes. It wasn't all the creative shit trying to make the show look good. It was like just trying to get this person to get along with this person. And then you're fielding this person's thing. And where do I get lunch? And just fucking deal with it. Yes. You're exhausted. It's exhausting. That is exhausting. The work is not the problem. Right. The work part, you know that your workflow is your workflow. That's what you do. You produce a show, whether it's on the film side or concert side. That part, you got a handle on that. It's the wild cards or the people. You know?
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So, all right. So I gather as a young kid, Pettinato and Sons, you're out there hanging drywall, doing your thing. When did the music piece, not so much when you started your career, but when was the music thing for you kicking in for young Jimmy Pettinato laying in his bed in, let's see, the 70s, right?
Yeah. I always loved music. I've always loved it, you know, and that in my really youngest years, like I loved music so much. I used to sit there and, you know, play records all the time. And, you know, I'm like, man, wouldn't it be cool to be a DJ? You know, like to be a DJ, because what do? They just play music all day long. You know, this is like, again, the 60s and 70s, you know, and when you're a little kid, that's what you believe, that they just sit in there and play records all day long.
Right.
And, you know, of course, as I got a little bit older, you know, you become, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, and you start saying shit like that to your parents and your grown-ups around you. And they're like, DJs don't make any money. You know, like you're not going to make any money as a DJ.
What was your dad's name? What's your dad's name?
My dad's name was Joe. Now, my dad passed away when I was really young. So my role models in my life were my grandfathers and my uncles, who really kept a firm hand on the wheel, you know, very firm. And my mom, to be honest with you. You know?
What's your mom's name?
Josephine.
Oh my God, Josephine and
Josephine.
Joe.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't know which Joe's coming at you. Was your mom's side Italian also?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When did everybody come over?
Yeah.
Way back?
So my grandfather on my dad's side was born in America. Okay. My grandfather on my mom's side, my grandparents on my mom's side were born in Italy. They came over as young children. So my dad's side, my grandfather was born here. Okay. My great grandfather came over from Italy.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, we're not that far off, you know.
Yeah. What was your grandfather's name? The one who was born here?
James. See, that's how I'm named after him.
Okay.
You got very few options if you're, in an Italian family, because the firstborn son is named after the father, the father's father, and then the second child is named after the father. So we got a string of James and Joes. Like, I got nephews, my brother's kids, James and Joe. I got cousins. Like, when we have a Christmas get together, somebody says, if someone were to yell, Jimmy Pettinato, get over here, 8 people would go. And if somebody said, Joe Pettinato, get over here, at least 5 would go.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. All right, so you start getting into music. Your grandfather.
I'm just listening, though. I'm just listening to music.
Oh, you're listening.
Play shit.
Right. You're just
I have no talent at all for anything musical.
You're just listening, and it's becoming apparent to you now that an uncle or a grandfather has just squashed your DJ dreams.
Yeah. Get that right out of your head.
Right. Learn to carry this shovel. That's about as far as it's going to go. Right?
They honestly, the thought was the one thing we don't have in the family is we don't have an operating engineer. You know what an operating engineer is? Those like the guys who drive the backhoes and the bulldozers.
Right.
They're like, you don't have one of those in the family, and you like mechanical things. But that's going to be your target. It's going to be an operating engineer.
Here's your next 60 years, kid. Welcome to the family. Yep. And were you bummed about the whole kind of squashing? No, you're like, this is what I do.
It's what I do, right? I mean, this is like what everyone I know, that's what they do. Every single person I knew in my family had a tool belt. Like they all had tool belts. Everybody had a tool belt.
Right.
I learned how to swing a hammer at like 3. Like, I remember my dad, 3 or 4 years old, my dad saying, no, you don't grab it like this, you grab it here. Like when you get the little plastic tool set. We
got one in there.
Hell with the hammer. Then it's like, don't know, you're choking up on it much too far. Hey, grab it right here.
I just literally last month, my son was in my studio here, and I've got like this wood beam, and he was like, "Daddy, I gotta fix your." He's 4. He's like, "I gotta fix your beam," and I was like, "Okay." So I gave him the hammer and the nails, and he's over there knocking shit. And I went over and I said, "No, you don't have to hold it up there. Hold it down here. Watch your thumb, because you're gonna hit your thumb and start crying. It's okay." And then he took a roll of my gaff tape, black gaff tape, and he taped up the nails on the beam, so it looks like it's ridiculous over there. But that's his construction site.
That's all right.
That's what he's got. It's good. So I know that thing of teaching. All right, so you're doing that, and you're spending your weekends and your summers doing construction, and you're figuring out how to drive these machines, probably, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, yes. Well, I mean, all of that. My dad taught me how to run a jackhammer. I think I was 7. My grandfather came running over. To him and he said, "Are you out of your mind?" He said, "He's got to learn it sooner or later."
He doesn't have a choice. Did you like school? Were you a good student? Or did that not even matter?
Hopefully no one in my family will listen to this. School was a social event for me.
Okay.
I was that guy. Like, I was school. I was smart enough to keep ahead of the curve, but not a genius in any means. But I mean, if you think about the grades that I got, considering I did the work that I put in, I probably could have fucking gone far somewhere. But all I wanted to do was maintain whatever I could to keep out of trouble so that I could hang out with girls at school. Like, that was, like, school was a social setting. My buddies were there, and there were girls there.
Right.
And sports was there, and all that kind of stuff was completely what I was focused on. I like learning things, like, well, such for later.
Right.
Somewhere down the road, I'll learn something later.
Right. So between late 70s and 82, you go to Scranton Central High and you graduate Penn State College of Technology. And what are you thinking at that point?
So that during that time, I've been since forever. I'm a gearhead, right? Like, since the first time I picked up a Matchbox car as a kid to now, I'm a gearhead. I love cars. Cars are my passion.
Okay.
Like, that is my passion. Cars. So as you start to develop, okay, when I realized, well, maybe construction isn't for me, but maybe I'd like to do something in the automotive industry, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I got to start somewhere. because I can't just go, well, I like to work on cars. So that Pennsylvania College of Technology is a technical school, 2-year degree programs. And what I took was automotive technology, thinking I want to make a living in the automotive industry somehow, whether it be a mechanic, whether it's own my own garage, whether it's you take this further, but that's step one, right? Okay, so that's somewhere along the way I morphed, and I was still, on the summers I was making money working for my grandfather in the construction business. But my thought was, and they were kind of cool with it, like nobody said it was a terrible idea.
Well, it's still within that, sort of working class. Like you're working with your hands. You're working with your hands, right? You're using your brain and your skill. So I could see that.
Yeah, no one hated that plan. Sure. No one hated it. And then so, I go through that. Well, the first summer I go to college, my best friend, Jack, he says, hey, my cousin is in a band and they're looking for guys to help them out on the weekends and carry the equipment in. And we have to get, load the van up and we drive the van to the bar and then we set up the equipment and then we have to, one of us has to do sound and one of us has to do lights.
Right.
Now, I had no fucking idea what we were doing, right? But like, yeah, sure. We get into bars. Like that was what triggered it for me.
Bars, booze, and girls.
Yeah, it was. We were under the drinking age, but we got to go into the bars, and there were going to be girls there. This is great, and they're going to pay us $15 a night. Are you kidding? This is the best thing ever. So we go and do it, and they teach us some bits of like, okay, and to be fair, in high school and junior high school, I was in the theater club, right? So I didn't know what a light was, and I knew what a gel was. I learned
what a
that,
light
right?
was.
I knew a little tiny, like the tiniest bit. I knew how to cut a gel and make it green or make it red. So I understood that, and so we said, okay, well, since you did that, then you can do the lights and I'll do the sound. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So we're out there doing this on weekends, and now it's time to go to college. Well, I go to college, and my college, thankfully, was not that far away. So I'm driving home on weekends like an idiot and doing gigs, right, with this little bar band, right? And now I'm realizing, oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this, and I got to tell you, and it never stopped. 30 no longer now. That was that. I've been making a living at it for 35 years, 36 years. It's longer than that. Like 1980 was when I started that, and it's been that organic of a progression ever since.
Was there a point when you had to say to your grandfather, your uncles, whatever, listen, I'm not only am I not going to do the car thing, but I'm not joining Pettinato and family in the construction business.
There absolutely was.
And when was that?
1984.
He's got the date.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? So 1984, like I'm like out there and I am working for all these local bands on weekends, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working in my chosen field. I have like sort of almost like what I, at that time, young me, thought was a dream job. I worked at a speed shop, right? I worked at so there's a very famous drag racer named Joe Amato. I don't know if you're into cars or drag racing. He's from my home area, and him and his brother owned a little chain of speed shops called A&A Auto Stores. And I was working at one of those stores. I was working at one of those stores during the week, and on the weekends I was doing lights for bands. It was the greatest thing ever. I'm set. This is awesome, right? I sell speed parts during the week, and then I gig on the weekends with bands. So then this bigger band, a band that made a living at it, they worked 5 days a week. This is what they did, 5 or 6 days a week. They gigged all over the Eastern Seaboard. One of the guys came in and was watching a show that I was doing and said, hey, we need a lighting guy, and you do a pretty good job. We'd like you to come over and audition. And I said, okay. We set up a day that they were playing there, and I went in to their sound check, and I ran lights for their sound check, and they hired me. Well, now this is a 5-day. I'm on the road, right? We're on the road 5 days a week.
So you got to leave the speed shop.
I got to quit my job at the speed shop. I got to tell all my buddies that I'm going on the road. I got to tell my mother that, and my uncles, and my grandfather. And I may as well have just joined the fucking circus, right?
Well, your buddies, I imagine your buddies are like, that's fucking awesome, dude, right?
There's a 50-50 split, because the ones who were like on a track to being normal guys who have normal jobs and kids, and they were already starting down that path, are like, are you out of your fucking mind? What are you doing?
Right.
And then the other ones who were my band buddies,
right?
Like my weekend band buddies are like, holy shit, this is great. This is an awesome chance,
Yeah.
And so, it was kind of a split. It wasn't unanimous by any means. Some of them thought I was as nutty as my family did.
Oh my God. I would pay good money to be a director in the room of the scene of your mom and your uncles. Jimmy, what the fuck are you doing?
It was totally that.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter? Exactly.
What's the matter with you?
It was a lot of that.
Wow. Sure. Because if you leave it, you go on the road with the band, right? Who knows what happens with the band? Now you come back, you're going to tail between your legs, go get your job back at your speed shop. I mean, crazy.
And at that time I wasn't really thinking of that. I figured,
sure.
See how this plays out. We'll see right now. It could be fun, and it could be cool. And they were, at the time, I was entrenched in it, and I was enjoying it, right? I was, and as you start to get better at things, right, you realize, wow, this is fun, because as your skills are progressing, you're really, now you got the bit between your teeth,
right?
And so that's exactly where I was at that point, and so you don't really think of the consequences.
Well, and
I didn't think of consequences at all.
Right, and you're making money, so at least the making money, not a lot, but you're making some money, so at least that part's got to be satisfying your family a bit, right? To be. Okay.
It wasn't for free. We got paid.
Sure.
I was getting paid as much as I got at the speed shop.
And amazingly, after you start this, because that must have been, was that pre-83?
84.
That was 84, you said.
84 through, then it started,
Right. 4 years later.
I never had a day job since then.
Right. 4 years later, in 88, you're on the road with a flock of seagulls. Right? Who at that time was fucking flock of seagulls.
Yeah, they were a household name at that time,
Yeah.
They had won a Grammy. They were
eating up MTV.
Yeah, it was it was a real thing, and
right.
So
at that point you're like really legit.
Well, it still wasn't, no one in my family ever believed that, like, this is going to blow over.
Right.
This is going to blow over, because no one in my family knew who a flock of seagulls was,
Right.
They don't, I'm rattling off the bands that I've worked for, in the first 2 or 3 years, and they're whatever, whenever this is over,
Yeah. Maybe if you'd said Bon Jovi, that would have been something. But maybe not even at that time?
Not then. It would have not mattered. Because we were playing the same clubs as Bon Jovi at that time.
Right.
He was still, their star was rising.
Yeah.
But I remember playing the same bars that they played, when they were coming up.
So when did you start? Let's jump ahead. Well, actually, I know you were on the tour of the Spin Doctors, the first two big ones.
Yeah.
That's where you and Michelle met. I mean, by that time, that was her first tour. We had a great time talking about that she'd never done anything that big. Yeah. But by that time, you're already like 10 years in. Easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you're probably, by 10 years in, you're pretty set with the trajectory. And you started production managing in them.
Yeah, I mean,
in fact, that looks like your first real production manager beside Noisy Mama.
Yeah, I mean, basically all those bands before that, even A Flock of Seagulls, I was running lights and doing production.
Okay.
And in those days, at that level, it was easy. It was doable. Like you could basically, because you're being the production manager, you were the guy who did the advance work and you were the responsible one. Like, so if there was 5 or 6 crew guys at that time, you were the least fucked up, right? You were the least drunk. You were the one who was like, hey, you know what? He can get the job done. So the manager would deem like, okay, well, you're going to do this because I can trust you.
Right.
And so for all those bands, like, Dirty Looks and Noisy Mama and A Flock of Seagulls, I did all the advance work. I ran lights and I did all the advance work.
Yeah.
And advance work in those days was a spiral bound notebook, and a calling card. You had a calling card and used to sit on a stool in a truck stop in between gas stops and make a few phone calls. Like, okay, well, we'll be there at 3:00 in the afternoon. If we could get, 2 helpers, that'd be great. And we need, there's 10 of us, and what time will the doors open? That was advance work at that time,
Sure.
You were using whatever they had in-house for some of those, But I did all that at that time, hell, when I started with Spin Doctors, I think I had just gotten my first computer. I was still doing all my advance work on paper.
Longhand, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I just got my very first laptop. Wow. And I didn't even know how to use it. I just got one because people were like, this is the way of the future.
Right.
Like this is the way, you're going to need one of these. So I bought one, I didn't know I was starting from scratch, like, okay, what does this do?
And you were able to keep a lot of the lighting stuff as part of your skill set for a long time.
Yeah. And that was the part I liked, the production thing helped pay the bills. It got me more work because I could do 2 jobs.
Sure.
And if you could hold it together, if you were responsible enough to do that, you could sell yourself. You were a marketable commodity.
Yeah.
Because, all right, well, he's a good lighting guy, but he also will do the production role. So now that takes, you're a
little bit more indispensable.
Yeah. And you're more hireable.
Right. Did you have a propensity toward enjoying the good times, out there, drinking and all that?
Oh, in the 80s?
Oh my God. If anybody out there could have seen his face, that's a yes, he did. He had a good time.
In the 80s. Oh yeah. It was the 80s.
Right. Yeah. So you were able to balance though. You were responsible, do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the way I grew up, you had no other option, right?
Yeah. Right.
We always have a saying, you've probably heard it, hangovers are optional, load-ins are not.
Right.
And it's the same thing, look, all the years I worked construction, I used to see these guys when I was a little kid, 13, 14 years old. I used to see these guys dragging their asses into work. And they were hungover as fuck, but they showed up to work because they had to work.
Right.
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 Or my grandfather would have killed all of them and then fired them. Right. So, I learned that at a young age. Like, hey, this is what goes on. Like guys work hard, they play hard, and
yeah.
So you gotta work. And that's sort of what kept me afloat in the music industry. Is there are a lot of guys who don't get that.
Yeah,
I think because the guys who have the musical background and the artsy guys who come in as musicians rather than coming from a little bit more of a blue collar background, they maybe don't get that, and that, some of my friends, like, really good friends that I've had now for 30 years, they've been in the business that long, and they're like, yeah, I started as a forklift driver. I was a teamster. I was a warehouse worker,
right.
And they've parlayed that into huge careers for that reason. They came in with a blue collar work attitude, I guess, and
Yep.
you got to do it. That's your job.
Right.
You got to go to work.
Right.
Whether you're hungover or not.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that. It also, it sort of internally, instinctively provides I don't want to say a barrier, but a bit of a boundary, let's say, between you. You look at it as a job.
It's a job.
We're not, yes, you're in the quote unquote circus, but you're not part of the circus.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Always.
so you get that sort of distinction between, sort of like you said, right, with the house building analogy, right? You don't own the fucking house. So,
Right.
don't talk to the owners.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Unless you have a reason to talk to the owner, they don't want to know from you unless it went over budget or there's a fucking problem. Other than that, shut up and do your job.
You're 100% right. You know, and you know, that's been a thing for me 35 years. I'm not friends with the pop stars.
Right.
I'm friendly with them.
Right.
I will be as friendly with them as they want me to be.
Right.
And I like a lot of them.
Sure.
Some of the people I've worked for, I truly enjoy as people. But I'm the help. You know, I work for you. You're my boss.
Right.
We may go karting on a day off together because we both enjoy that.
Right.
But there is no illusion that we are on the same level.
Right.
You know.
Right. Because after that go-karting trip, the manager could come to you for whatever reason and be like, hey, we got to make some cuts and you're fired.
Yeah.
Right.
In a minute.
Right.
In a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
You cut them off on the go-kart track.
Yeah.
You just got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's interesting, man. So at one point, mid-2000s, a couple things happen with you. You make a jump, pretty clear jump to just production managing.
Yeah.
And you went on a crazy sort of leap into the Alanis Morissette, Gwen Stefani, Nine Inch Nails, Pink, Backstreet Boys, New Kids. It just sort of leapt. Not that there was anything wrong with a Beck Sea Change tour, which must have been insane because that was a whole new vibe for him, right? And Indigo Girls and stuff like that. But it looks like there was a step up into a different plateau and a conscious shift, according to your resume. I'm not lighting anymore. I'm not doing, this other thing. I'm a production manager. That's what I do.
Yeah. And yes, and there was a very conscious decision that, number one, lighting, what I liked in lighting was leaving me behind, right? There are guys, peers, friends of mine, guys who are still in the industry who were my peers then, who kept up, right? And they watched as what was cool changed and what the technology developed, not only the technology, but then the inclusion of the technology into what artists wanted. And what I thought looked cool as a lighting designer was no longer cool. And I knew that. And I it took a little bit there. There was a little bit of time right around that transitional time that I started to realize that. And that was where I made my decision. It's like, okay, I can fuddle through this and I can probably still do this, or I can just cut and focus on one job. Unfortunately, the lighting job was the job I enjoyed.
Yeah. That
was like my passion. If I had a passion in music, that was it. But my proclivity was for production going forward. I was not like, I don't want to bore you with the minutia, but like everything changed. The inclusion of video and merging of video into the lighting space changed, which I hated, and I still am not crazy about, but that came in, and the way shows were cued came in, changed, shows got way more structured as opposed to the old freeform way that we used to run lights.
Right.
Almost like the thing was an instrument,
Yeah.
And it was the world changed. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm ready to leave that behind. If this is where it's going, I'm fine to make this change.
And were you also
fine? One job great.
What's that?
And do one job great.
One job great, yeah. Which clearly, it looks like that started to pay off pretty quickly, man.
Yeah, you change your focus, where you're not trying to sell yourself as a production manager /LD.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to focus on doing production and just do that.
Yeah.
I know you had my buddy Zito on at one point in time, because I've listened to two podcasts in my entire life. I listened to Michelle's, and then she said, well, he also interviewed Zito. I'm like, all right, I listened to Zito's. And the part where he did the same thing as a sound engineer / production manager.
Yeah.
Well, I was the guy poking him in the chest saying, it's time to make a choice, right? You're either going to fucking take this thing and skyrocket it one way, or you can keep muddling along as doing both jobs half-assed. Pick one, and he did.
Yeah.
And he picked doing production.
And for both of you guys, it paid off. But I'm curious, because if we backtrack in our conversation, you're like, hey, you're hireable. You're more hireable, right? If you can do two things.
Yes.
So was there a part of you that was like, fuck, is it I'm leaving something behind. Am I going to get the jobs? Obviously it paid off, but
But one thing that was unsaid in there, there is a absolute, and I don't even know if it's glass, but there's a ceiling. There's a ceiling at the level of touring that you can do two jobs and do something / production, whether it's front of house engineer / production or lighting / production. There is a glass ceiling, and that ceiling is somewhere around, I want to say, really, for me, it was 3 or 4 tractor trailers, right? 3 or 4 truck tour, maybe 5, I think was the biggest I ever did. And after that, you are just losing the handle on one of those jobs or both. You're not doing great work either place, and you're relying on other people. So in the lighting world, you're relying on your crew chief, your lighting crew chief a ton to do all the shit you should be out there on the floor doing when you're in there advancing, right? But when you're in there advancing, trying to do your advance work, well, you should be focusing on lighting. And when you're out there, okay, well, I'm going to go out and just work on do my focus with my guys. And then, well, when you're doing that, there's something's not happening in the production office, right? Mm-hmm. There's details that are not being handled. And that limit to me was, I started to see my handle slipping on it around 3 or 4 tractor trailers. Around 4 tractor trailers, I said, this is it. This is the limit that I can do this even half-assed. Wow. So that was my split, and then if I want to do bigger tours, and I'm not super aspirational. I don't want to be Jake Berry. I mean, and Jake Berry's he's an icon in our industry. I don't need to be a stadium guy, but if I want to get bigger and progress, I've got to cut one of these. Got it. And that was the way to do it, So just release the lighting part. And I was fine.
And it did, because obviously you then went on to do stadium things, right? I mean,
not really. I mean, I don't really do stadiums, if they bounce into stadiums or whatever, but I don't consider myself a stadium production manager. Okay. I'm an arena production manager, arenas and sheds. That tier into stadiums is a whole different level.
Why? Like, how much bigger is that to go from a shed or an arena to a stadium?
It adds a few levels of complexity. It's more of everything. Number one, it adds a few layers of complexity. Because now not only are you wrangling, you're wrangling all the stuff you would normally bring, like sound, lights, monitors, stage, set, all that stuff. But now you've got to you're also bringing the building, right? Because a stadium,
it's not made.
Doesn't have steel. It doesn't have, hell, it may not even have shitters, right? Like, you've got to bring it all, or make sure that somebody is bringing it all, and then you factor weather, unless it's a dome, now you're factoring weather in, and it just gets, to me, stadiums, the potential for messy is really high, and it's a complication that is not worth the jump in pay, that takes you into a stadium production manager. Yeah. I have no aspirations to do it. None. Yeah. I love arenas. I'll be in arenas till the day my career sails off into the sunset. I'm happy there.
Do you still like being on the road 30 years later?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I want to do it less. Mm-hmm. At some point I want to live my life. While I'm on the road, all my buddies are going racing, and we're all, I race. That's my hobby, right? So my weekend thing is, I don't fish, I don't golf, I race, right? I have a couple of race cars and I road race. And so I I have, all my buddies are either, or like I have another couple like toy street cars, so they're either going to car shows or we're going to car meets or we're racing, and it kills me that they're like, I can't do that all the time with them,
Yeah.
So they're, I'm 58 now. I would love to start transitioning into, having a little bit more time for that kind of stuff. That's what I enjoy. So
you ever get up here to Lime Rock?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I haven't been to Lime Rock in a few years because I race with a club called SCCA, Sports Car Club of America.
Okay.
And so the SCCA, the Lime Rock race, I think is a conflict with one of the other races I do. But yeah. Oh, yeah. How close are you to Lime Rock?
45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It's
Have you
funny
ever
because
go-
both, you know who Tony Fishman is from Telefunken?
No.
He's the owner of Telefunken.
Yeah, the microphone guy.
Yeah, and he's a big Porsche guy. He's got cars that go up there. And then Analog Man, Mike Piera, the guitar pedals, he races Porsches up there.
Really?
Yeah.
No, see, I didn't know that.
It's funny. Along with the military thing, I've had a bunch of guys and gals who have the car thing in there also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cars and trucks and roadies go really, really well together.
Yeah. It's a similar culture.
Yeah, it is. Like, it really is.
Yeah. That's fantastic, man. And then you took a left turn for Guy Fieri.
It wasn't so much a left turn. That was a legit tour, right? Like It was put to me, like the guy who hired me on it, Jerome Crooks, tour manager. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this tour with. We're going to do a theater tour with a chef from the Food Network, right?" He said, "It's going to be just like a rock and roll tour, only they're going to cook instead of play music." And I said, "Well, that is interesting as hell. Sign me up for that." And it was, to this day, possibly the most fun that I have had on tour.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
Oh my God. It was so much fun. Like, well, number one, he's a great guy. Like Guido, all his buddies call him Guido, and I don't profess to be his buddy, but that's how you address, you don't call him Guy when you're working there for him. Guido, right? So he is, number one, he is a great person. He is as fun could be. That dude is fun in a box, right? Like, and he brings this cast of characters with him that you don't see on any of his shows, but he is this posse of cooks and prep guys. None of them have real names, right? There's Dirty P, Easy, there's Knuckles, Gorilla, like all these guys, none of them have names, right? Like none of them have names. And like they are his posse, man, and they roll with him and they do all the prep and everything. And they are as fun as you could imagine. Like we had so much fun on that tour. I laughed nonstop.
You probably ate your face off too.
Oh my God, did we eat? Because the tour was routed around cities that he had done Triple D in, right?
Right.
So it was just like a rock tour. Every show had an opening act, a local opener, and that was usually a local restaurateur who he had worked with on Triple D. And then we had a touring opening act who was a mixologist, a world-renowned bartender guy who's written books on mixing drinks, books on wine. And so this guy, he did like a 45-minute set on mixing drinks and all these techniques of mixing drinks. And then Guido's set was like 90 minutes. The headline set was 90 minutes. And he made 3 or 4 different entrees on it. And they drank. Oh my God. These guys party harder than any rock stars I've ever worked for in my career. Like chefs, those guys throw down. Oh my God, they have fun.
Wow. That's cool, man.
Yeah. I could talk forever about that tour. Like it was the most fun I've ever had on the road.
If I'm looking at a stack of Production Manager resumes and you're one of them, what sets you apart?
I don't know. I don't know that anything really sets me apart, and I don't know that I want it to. I like to be in the top portion of that stack, and then I get jobs done. and that I have had numerous repeat clients, over the years, or had the opportunity to have repeats, which, I think speaks well. But, I don't know that I have a skill set that anybody else at hopefully the top of that pile doesn't have.
Right. But maybe the temperament.
Yeah. I try and bring a certain vibe to a tour, I'm not a military guy. I try and run it like as clean as that, but I'm not a yeller, right? I'm not, and there are guys out there who are yellers, and I won't name them, and they're friends of mine. And I know that they're like, where they have a different demeanor that they set, and that's not me.
Yeah.
My job is I'm a facilitator, right? I look at all my crew guys and all my department heads, and how can I make your job excel, right? This isn't about me. My job is to make all of you guys shine. So what can I do to provide for you to make you guys kick this tour in the ass? And that's really how I look at it, So I don't know that differentiates me, but it's, if I had a superpower, that's my superpower, it's not me. I'm not running this tour. I'm facilitating for a bunch of really talented motherfuckers, like guys who are just the best of the best. And I'm facilitating for them so that they can excel.
Yeah. I want to circle back a couple things, and then I'm going to let you go because you got some snow blowing to do. And I want Michelle's walkways looking good, man.
Yeah, I know.
If you, oh my God, I just lost it. I'll go with this one. This is usually my ender, but I'll do second to last here. If you could go back to young Jimmy Pettinato, who's again at that point, right, where you've got to tell your family and your friends, I'm going to take this leap. If you could go back and pull that kid aside, what would you say?
Oof. Party less. I really would. And those were fun times. I had a lot of fun, but, through the 80s and into the 90s, if I could have whispered in my own ear, it's like, look, it's going to sound really cool. Party a little less. I think that's, I would have said maybe party less and make the transition sooner. I think I would have told myself to bail out of the co-lighting production thing a little earlier.
Okay.
I think I stayed in it maybe that much too long, just a little too long.
Yeah.
Although, again, looking back, I wouldn't give up any of those tours, those last tours that I did as a production manager LD. I wouldn't give them up. I can't say that I'm not proud of the work that I did. But, maybe I should have got out a tiny bit sooner.
Yeah. You've mentioned being a curmudgeon. Yeah. And that can also parlay sometimes as being jaded in what you do. So my question is, I experienced when I was acting, I started as an actor musician, right? So I experienced knowing some guys that had Oscars and had some success in their career, right? And they were kind of mentors to me. And when I went to them as a young 17, 18-year-old, whatever, and said, I want to get into business and blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to do this business, right? You don't want to do. And of course, I'm looking there. What are you talking about? This is the best thing in the world. So I'm curious, are you on that other side where people ask you like, oh, dude, how do I get, Jimmy, how do I get in there? Are you like, fuck you?
100%. If one of my nephews came up to me and said, Uncle Jim, you have the most spectacular life in the whole wide world. I want to do what you do. I would, after I got done beating him, be like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Why?
No.
Why?
How did I survived this? I didn't, like this, I'm in the 1/10 of 1% that came out of this, not having been divorced 4 times, not having been bankrupt 4 times, not having gone to fucking rehab 3 times, or worse. Those are the good parts, right? Those are the good things that I see of guys I work with, right?
Yeah.
I came out as like a shining star. Totally. So Michelle, Michelle was in the Full Sail Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
So when they go down there for that ceremony, Michelle speaks on all kinds of panels down there, and subsequently I got asked by the very nice people at Full Sail if I would mind to speak on a couple of those panels with her, and it was a very nice star-studded panel, and some of them were good, and I said, man, I've got to really watch what I say here, because these are young kids. Yeah. They're paying money to go to this school and they want to work in this industry. Then holy shit, how do I not sound jaded as hell saying, get out, run now, go to medical school, go to engineering school, go anywhere here. And, I think I'm really lucky in that I survived it, right? And that I survived it so far, and I feel like I'm doing okay with it. And but so many haven't, and I think the deck is stacked against you, to not survive it. Like there's the substance issues, there's the partying issues, there's distractions, right? There's a lot of things that can go into it.
There's really just wear and tear. Just wear and tear.
Destruction of family life, like I know guys who I work with, they're on their 4th wives, like, oh yeah, my 3rd wife, well, yeah, I was divorced twice, and they're not much older. They're not older than me. They're younger than me,
Right.
It has the potential to destroy home lives. And there are guys who take to it like fish to water, as well. That's why I can't totally go and say, because there are, the military guys take to it really well. Mm-hmm. Ex-military guys, and I have a lot of them on my crew, and I love having them because they adapt to roadie life solid. And some of those guys come in and they knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
And so, it is for some, but man, if you're young and smart, I have a really hard time saying, oh yeah, sign up for that.
Yeah. All right, let's leave it on one more, because we brought up Michelle, and I can't at this point remember if I asked her the same question, but now looking at your resume, now knowing how much you've been out there, how much she's been out there, and the fact that you guys have been together since the Pocket Full of Kryptonite tour, basically, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Long time. Even longer in that's long in regular life. That's even longer in roadie years.
Roadie years, yeah.
Right? That's a long fucking time. How have you guys made it work? You're both traveling all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I say to people all the time that I think that's how it works. It's some of the couples I know that are together 24/7, they're apart 8 hours a day for their job and they're together 24/7. They don't get along as well as we do. The time that we spend together, we look forward to, and the time apart makes you look forward to the time together.
Yep.
And we're never sick of one another. Sometimes if we're home for like 3 months together,
I can say 3 days.
When are you leaving? We're fond of saying around this house, but that's not how we do that here. Because when I'm home, I have a certain routine. And when she's home, she has a certain routine. And when we're all home together, it's like, oh, what time do we feed the cats? Well, I feed the cats at 6 o'clock. Oh, no. We feed the cats at 4 o'clock, like that, When are you leaving? We have a lot of those moments.
Are you sensitive to each other post-tour in terms of you've just gotten off some ridiculous TSO run, nobody slept, you haven't slept in a long time, right? Is she then sensitive, like, all right, he needs a 5 day a week to pull himself back together, and then for you as well, same thing, like just,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And prior, pre-tour, pre-tour when we're both prepping, if I'm prepping and she's not or whatever, she knows that I'm going to be locked in my office staring at my stupid computer and she'll come in here and I'll be sitting in the dark because it will have started out light and I will have been here in the morning, and the sun will have gone down, and I will be sitting in the office completely illuminated only by my computer screen. And she'd be like, "What are you retarded? Turn on the lights." So like, right. I hadn't even noticed it got dark.
Right. Who are you?
Yeah, yeah. So she's told we're both completely in tune with that's how it works.
Yeah, nice.
It helps. I mean that to me the marriages that are embattled the most are the guys who, if a guy on tour and the wife is a stay-at-home mom, housewifey kind of situation, and she's not switched on and she doesn't have a life of her own, those are the ones, they're torture. I see guys get tortured by that. Yeah. If the wife is switched on, she's got her own career, or she's got mega projects that she's out, like she gardens, she does this. Those are the ones that work, I think, outside of people like Michelle and I, which is, a narrow sliver. Yeah. Who get the opportunity to really see inside, but the waiting, whoever's at home waiting. Yeah. That's brutal.
Yeah. Jim Pettinato, dude. I don't know, man. This has been awesome. I really, really appreciate you. Good. See?
Fun. My first ever podcast. Like I said, I've listened to two. I didn't even know what a fucking podcast was, right? Talk about being a curmudgeon, right? And she's like, "Well, no, I'm on a podcast." I'm like, "What is that? I don't even know what that is."
You're like, "Listen, it's if you go and you talk to some guy in Connecticut, it's great. It's like a phone call."
2 years ago, I thought Uber was a dating service. Like my crew guys were laughing at me. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I'm waiting to go to the gym. I'm waiting in the lobby for a taxi. And like, "Will you wait for an Uber?" I'm like, "An Uber?" I'm like, "No, I'm not waiting for a blowjob. I'm waiting for a taxi." They're like, "Uber, you call it. It's a car. It comes for you." I'm like, "Oh, is that what Uber is?" I had no idea. Like that was like literally legit maybe 3 years ago now, but I laugh about it. I'm like, I thought it was one of those dating services.
Hysterical, man. That's called Grindr. Jim.
Yeah, I'm that. I'm fully in that zone there.
Oh my God, dude! Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it, man.
All right, take care, Larry. All right, we'll get in touch.
Well, there it is. There you have it. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming on the show. That wraps us up for this week, guys. Don't forget, during the week, you can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, all as Roadie Free Radio. Check out the website, roadiefreeradio.com, and send me a note. I want to hear from you. That's info@roadiefreeradio.com. And my friends, in the meantime, y'all be safe out there. No roadies, no rock and roll.